everybody, and welcome to Indie Film Cafe. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with myself. I'm here with another quick movie reviews. This is a quick movie review Thursday. Quick review Thursday? I think something like that. We're calling it a specific thing. So, let's talk about the movie Final Cut. Now, this isn't the final cut. I think that was made in like 2013. Wasn't the kind of final cut that was made in 2012. Wasn't the, you know what I mean? Like, every year, I believe, there's almost a final cut movie made. And this is not Urban Legends' final cut. But it sort of has a similar premise, I guess, in a way. Not the same premise, but it's basically about a film crew, of course, because if you're going to do a movie called Final Cut, it has to do with the movie business. So basically this guy who's the writer, who's actually the real writer in real life, and then he makes a joke about something like that later on. Just trying to be very meta, I guess, in the whole movie. But anyway, so basically the movie is about a guy who gets his, his film gets stolen, so he has to rewrite it and come up with this better storyline that's gonna blow everybody away. They kind of rush into production, and as they rush into production, somebody murders him and then steals his outfit because he was gonna play the killer because the original killer didn't show up. So is he the original killer? You know, it's a what a lot of people like to call a teen Scream kind of thing. Like, you look at like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, not The Faculty, but you know, all those movies perpetrated by Kevin Williamson, basically slasher films that were kind of made with like a teen audience in mind. So apparently, my biggest gripe with this movie, if I'm going to be honest, is the kind of, you don't really get to know the characters much, right? And if you know the twist ending, which I'm not going to spoil, it kind of makes sense that you don't, but in the same sense, you should. Because, it's a movie about making movies, and I don't really get to understand motivations for a lot of these things, for a lot of these characters. And then there's a couple characters that they try to get you to kind of get to know, but it's just, at that point, it's just too late. I feel like generally when you write a script, you kind of form the characters in the first act. You're supposed to know who these characters are, what's going on, a little bit about each person. There wasn't a huge cast. I did like that there was a character that really wanted to be on her cell phone, so all the cell phones got taken away. Made sense for the movie, for if somebody is like, where's my phone? Oh, I don't have it. The chick does end up getting it back. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that it totally makes sense for those kind of things. There are those situations. I like that. I thought that was a really good tool. However, just the rest of the movie felt like, I don't know, kind of cliche, kind of generic. Like I said, the characters weren't developed enough. The storyline just seemed like every other slasher kind of thing. And now, on top of that, they're putting on the meta idea of a serial killer, killing people, during the making of a movie about a horror film about a serial killer killing. It's just, it feels like I've seen that done, a million times. And I felt like this film didn't bring anything new into it, The relationships, they kind of gave the writer, who once again is the writer of the film, the actor who plays the writer is the writer of the film, they kind of give him like a little bit of a character development, kinda, and then, as I said, he's killed off, so you don't see him. Like it just doesn't even. It just doesn't even matter after a while. Like him and his smoking obsession, which I'm like, there's a million people that are smokers out there. People don't talk about smoking like that. Like it just felt like it was a crutch. It was something for the guy to kind of, to be used for later. But it would have been cool if that was something that like the killer used to kill people, is smoking. That kind of thing. But really, it didn't take much out of that. So I don't know. Honestly, it was okay. If you are into teen Scream movies, like you're into Scream, you're into I Know What You Did Last Summer, and you're just looking for that, like you're looking for a indie version of that, watch it. Honestly, watch it. Give it a try, because I think you might enjoy it. I mean, I don't think it was a terrible movie. The acting was pretty damn good. There's nobody I was like, because a lot of times in indie films, and I hate to say this, but indie films, they pick actors who aren't the greatest actors, and the directors don't know how to direct them necessarily. So a lot of times you get the characters that and the actors that you just like, you kind of laugh at what they just did or said or how they said it. Nothing like that in this movie. This movie was pretty damn good on that front. I think, like I said, the weakest thing I think was the story. I think, and I could kind of tell there was a problem when it's like 35 minutes and it's like halfway over, and like almost like they're trapped in the place. Like things have already gone haywire, and it's like halfway over, and I'm like, like I feel like that's something that needs to be spread out. That's why I like those movies where the killer kills people one by one in different places or something, because that's just, to me, is more fun. If they're like all getting killed at the same time and they run, like seriously, why can't somebody just kick this guy in the balls and then run out the front door or something, like somehow, like break a window? I mean, there are a million things that could happen, but I guess you gotta like let it be understood. And then I kept like watching it, going, okay, I kind of see what's gonna happen. I did call sort of what was gonna happen at the end, in a way. I called one thing, and I'm not gonna say what it is because it's a spoiler. But and I don't want to spoil this movie, because I honestly think you guys should go out and watch it, and then you make up your own mind on this film, because I don't think it's a terrible movie at all, like I said, but I think it's one of those things where there's a scene in it where the killer goes after them, and I'm just like, just break a fucking window and just escape, and of course they don't do that. They just kind of like all run around, and they're all together. So I was like thinking, okay, it was the girl, was the director, who's making the movie or whatever. Is she going to be, killed, next or whatever? And honestly, like, or is she like in on it, and things like that, and just like questions that I kept asking, some of which I got the answers, but sometimes I didn't. So good for you guys. I was not expecting, I was expecting that it was going to be so generic. I was going to know every single thing about it, because I never heard of this movie. I was just looking on Amazon, kind of just perusing, and I found it. And because it was like one of the ones that was recommended to me. So I guess they saw something I'd seen that was similar to it. So they recommended that, and I was like, I'll check this out. And then it had Chris, I want to say his last name is Jenhert. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. But I thought he was great, but his part was so small. He played like a special effects guy that wasn't doing any of the special effects when the killer was killing people. So that set everybody off, going, uh-oh, I don't know. Honestly, I think his character should have been amped up a little bit more. There's a couple other characters that just, I felt like they were just just death fodder is what I call it, when people just kill people for no reason except we need more kills. And I find that to be very sloppy. I like to get to know the characters, especially if you have a few characters. Like, say you have 6 characters in a room together. Everybody, all of them should have character development. So what I would have liked is if they had all band together, they locked themselves into a room, they tried to figure out how to get out, but for like 10 minutes at least, they're talking, and somehow you get a little bit of exposition of who they are, or something like that. But I don't, it's one of those things where I think this guy that wrote it, Dante, I think is his name, Dante Aubin, if I'm correct. He did and if I'm completely wrong, I am sorry, but he did a fantastic job. I felt like he did a fantastic job just writing a slasher flick, I think he could have done a lot better with the thing. I think it's even funnier that his character actually mentions at one point, his character actually mentions that he wasn't happy with the script. And I'm wondering if that was really the writer at that time going, I'm not fucking happy with this script. Right? Like, it's sort of, it's meta, but it's sort of funny. Like, it's its own thing. Like I said, I enjoyed it for being a teen Scream movie. When I watch it again, I might turn it on again someday, give it a rewatch. It's not something that I'm going to hold up as one of my favorite slasher movies. I think that writer and the director has this ability to just go on and do more stuff, I just would rather see future stuff of theirs. I think this movie is the first stepping stone to possibly better movies. So I'm looking forward to things that they do. They film their stuff out in New York. Chris is fantastic in it. So, everybody was, like I said, all the actors were fantastic. There was no bad actors in the movie. I just would have liked to have seen more of those main characters that died randomly, because I would have liked to have gotten to know them. I understand that would have taken a longer script, and that would have done, but, come on now. It was only 70 minutes. They could have tacked on 20 more minutes and at least just made it more interesting with the characters. I would have still be involved, because I was actually into the whole movie. So I think for 20 more minutes, I could have given it. So maybe there's a final cut coming one day, a final cut. I don't know. But it would be nice if they had added a little bit more to it. But I guess that's probably not happening. Anyway, all in all, I say go see it on Amazon Prime, or I don't know if it's on DVD or not. If you can get it on DVD from Amazon, probably buy it on there if you're not into streaming. There's a lot of people anti-streamers, and there's a lot of people anti-DVD now. So, whichever one, choose your battle. If you can see it on DVD, buy it. If you can only see it on Amazon Prime, or if you have to rent it on Amazon Prime, I'd even say it's worth the rental. If you don't have Amazon Prime and you can only rent the movies and stuff from it, I'd say rent it. It's worth $3, which you would get at a normal video store or something. There's not many of them around left, but honestly, I'd say go check it out. It's definitely a fun flick. I think you would enjoy it if you're into teen Scream movies. So that being said, thank you guys for checking this out. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Final Cut. Keep wanting to call it Final Draft, because the whole time he's talking about scripts. And there already was a movie, I think, starring James Van Der Beek, if I'm correct, called Final Draft. But there hasn't been that many movies called Final Draft, as there much has been movies called Final Cut. So, anyway, that's my little diatribe on that. Thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good one. Bye.